I don't know if you want to come down and
My name is Edmund Frost. I'm from Louisa, Louisa County. I live about 15 miles from North Anna. I'm with a group called Not on Our Fault Line, and we formed after the earthquake last year to address issues of safety at the plant after the earthquake. We're here today because it's the anniversary of Fukushima, and we want to show the parallels between what could happen at North Anna and what happened in Japan. We're here in Richmond, which is 40 miles from the North Anna plant. If there was a nuclear meltdown like there was at Fukushima, Richmond would be drastically affected. But right now, Richmond has no evacuation plan. So one of the things we're calling for is an evacuation planning for Richmond. And I think it's important to note that this is not just a theoretical, maybe could happen thing. This is something that happened last year in Japan. Hundreds of thousands of people had to be evacuated from distances between 25 and 50 miles away from the plant. So we're talking about a distance comparable to the distance that Richmond is from North Anna. One of our central demands is that Dominion retrofit the plant so that it can withstand strong earthquakes. The earthquake on August 23rd had ground motion that was twice double what the plant was designed for, and they restarted it without retrofitting to be able to withstand a stronger earthquake. So what we're trying to say here is that what we're up to here is saying that you need to actually retrofit the plant before it's safe to operate. You know, if a plant is designed for 0.12 ground acceleration and you get an earthquake that's 0.26 ground acceleration, it's not safe. And I don't see how they can tell us it is. So we're demanding retrofitting, we're demanding an evacuation plan for Richmond. Thanks.
We're going to need as many folks as we can to actually be able to make it all the way around the building. It's going to be about 400 people. And yeah, with help advertising it.
Channel 12's here.
Oh, good. I think we're going to get there.
You got to take the signs off the property. So you got to go down the sidewalk, not on the property, all right?
No problem. Okay.
Scary. Very scary.
Did you see this on the
Do you want it posted?
Where's that?
Styles version of style.
I know. They should be out here too. Charlottesville makes it. We're just busy posting the signs.
Built on a fault line. Built on a line. Built on a fault line. Built on a line. Built on a fault line. Built on a line. Built on a fault line. Built on a line. Built on a fault line. Built on a line. Built on a fault line. Built on a line. No new news. No new news. No new news. your lives no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Retrofit before it's too late.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your lives no more.
5, 6, 7, 8. Retrofit before it's too late.
1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your lives no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Retrofit before.
I'm Scott Price. I'm the Policy Director for the Alliance for Progressive Values. We're here because, like many of the other groups that are here, we have real issues with what's been going on with the North Anna plant in Louisa. We're also co-signatories to the petition that was filed with the NRC late last year that dealt with, I think it was 18 separate issues that we had with the plant. I think it is significant that a large number of those issues, the NRC ended up agreeing with us and at least attempting to address or saying that they would look at addressing some of those issues, and that's a big deal for us. An issue that's very specific for us as a Richmond-based organization is Richmond's 40 miles away from North Anna. We are downwind of North Anna, and in a situation in which there was an emergency at the plant, there's little doubt that Richmond would be affected by that. There's 1.2 million people in the Richmond metropolitan area. At present, there is no practical evacuation plan for the city and the environs. We think it's imperative that one be developed, that people need to understand that if something goes wrong there are going to be real consequences downwind of it. And I think that some of the complacency that we've dealt with nuclear energy might go away if people understood that there were real ramifications that could affect them in their homes.
Aren't we upwind from Surrey nuclear power plant too?
Pardon?
Surrey nuclear power plant.
Yeah, Surrey is also an issue. I think the way and I'm not a meteorologist, but I think the way the wind patterns go, I think North Anna is probably more of a problem, but Surrey is also an issue.
Thank you.
Fukushima, and I just want to thank you, Erica, for bringing that sign. I think that's a really important part of this. You know, there's a lot of ways that what happened in Fukushima apply to our situation, but I just think it's really important to think of the people over there that have suffered so much. My name is Edmund Frost. I'm from Not on Our Fault Line out of Louisa, and we're going to have just a few quick speakers, and we're going to get us started with Jerry Rosenthal from Louisa.
All right, Jerry.
So it's important to hold this behind the megaphone.
I'm with PACE, that's the People's Alliance for Clean Energy out of Charlottesville. PACE has been working since Dominion's original request to open up North Anna 3 and 4. And we've been working hard to talk to Virginians and talk to citizens all around about the real positive alternatives to building new nukes. The nukes are slow, expensive, dangerous, and we have wonderful alternatives. We have wind, we have solar, we have conservation. And the people have to understand we don't have to do without electricity, we just have to use our heads and use it more wisely. And we can do that. There are a lot of lessons to be learned from Fukushima. And one of the important ones is the design basis errors that were there at Fukushima. They said, we're not going to have a tsunami greater than 3 meters. They said, it's okay to store the waste right next to the plant. They said these things are not going to happen, and they did. People warned them about it. The same situation exists in North Anna. There are design bases that they put originally at the plant that they know can't meet. This earthquake that we had in Louisa last August is a perfect example of that. They know that the correct design basis is much higher than the current one. Why should we not retrofit to protect us against the problems in the future.
That's right.
Common sense
Come on.
is our goal.
That's right.
Let's remember the bottom line on all this is no new nukes. Retrofit the existing ones. Safety first.
That's right.
Put our safety and the safety of everybody in Virginia above Dominion's profits.
That's right.
Sarah Houston, and I'm with Not on Our Fault Line. Bear with me for a moment. On August 23rd, 2011 at 1:45 p.m., my two children and I were sitting in the kitchen when the 5.8 magnitude earthquake struck approximately 3 miles from our home. I will never forget the look of terror that washed across their faces, nor will I ever forget my own horror at my initial take of the situation. I thought the nuclear plant at North Anna had exploded. In the weeks that followed, I became aware of the following facts. North Anna was built on a fault line, which Dominion, then VEPCO, didn't disclose when they applied for their initial operating permit from the NRC. They were later fined $32,000 by the NRC for the non-disclosure. Dominion Power still doesn't know the root cause of the automatic shutdown on August 23rd. Only 3 of the 4 backup generators worked. The ground motion from the quake exceeded the plant's design by 100%, and 25 of 27 117-ton radioactive spent fuel casks moved as much as 4 inches and sustained cracking on the exterior. Given these facts, about a dozen of us came together and formed Not on Our Fault Line in the week after the quake. The lessons of Fukushima were not lost on us. Fukushima taught us that eventually the improbable happens. Fukushima also taught us that the corporation running the nuke plant does not care about the safety or well-being of the surrounding people or land base. In the days, weeks, and months following the accident, TEPCO and the Japanese government knowingly misled the public, downplaying the actual disaster level at the plant. This is just one of the many examples of how government-sanctioned denial endangers us all. We are especially in danger at North Anna. Since the quake, the NRC has continued their policy of industry appeasement at the people's expense. They allowed the restart at North Anna, despite the reactors not being retrofitted to withstand strong earthquakes. They allowed restart without conducting an inspection of Reactor 1's core. They allowed restart without requiring that the underground pipes be fully inspected. The NRC's very own chairman, Greg Jasko, said, the Commission has taken an approach that is not as protective of public health and safety as I believe is necessary. Where does that leave those of us living in the shadow of this dangerous plant? Since restart, North Anna has seen at least 2 partial shutdowns, both for leaks. Just last month, a report was issued that the groundwater at the plant is measuring at twice the EPA allowable levels for tritium. Please note, allowable does not mean safe.
That's right.
The nuclear industry will tell you that tritium isn't dangerous because its beta radiation cannot penetrate the skin. But what happens when you drink the radioactive substance in your water? Bottom line, they don't care about us, our health, or our well-being. I and several other of us in Not on Our Fault Line live approximately 15 miles from the plant. Currently, the NRC sets the evacuation zone at 10 miles. During last year's nuclear disaster in Japan, over 150,000 people had to be evacuated from more than 25 miles away from the plant. At Fukushima, most of the radiation blew out to sea. A meltdown at North Anna would be much worse. Prevailing winds blow from the northwest, which puts Richmond downwind from North Anna, and it's only 40 miles away. Fredericksburg, Manassas, Ashland, and Charlottesville are other cities within the critical 50-mile radius that should have evacuation planning in place. We are one of 37 environmental groups currently petitioning the NRC to expand the evacuation zones around nuclear plants to 50 miles. And we're here to put pressure on the city of Richmond and the state of Virginia as well to take emergency planning seriously. If nuclear catastrophe were to occur, we would lose everything, maybe even our lives. My question is this: at what risk level do we say it's too much? When do we stop letting the foxes guard the hen house? Put another way, when do we say that the reassurances from Dominion Power and NRC are not enough?
That's right.
We cannot appeal to the systems of power to protect us. They are the ones who created this mess in the first place.
Right.
It is up to us to take a stand and raise our voices and tell them they are not allowed to gamble with our lives.
That's right.
Thank you.
Here today, my name is Daniel Carowin. I'm with Chesapeake Climate Action Network. My name is Daniel Carowin. I'm with Chesapeake Climate Action Network. Everyone is here today because we know we need to end our reliance on old-fashioned, non-renewable energy. For the sake of our client, our environment, and our future, we need a massive energy shift now. We can see a future of clean energy and good jobs in the Commonwealth, but the biggest obstacle is right in front of me. Dominion has unmatched political power. It is the largest non-party donor to General Assembly candidates and essentially determines the fate of energy policy in Richmond. It puts profits over people and blocks the renewable energy development we need. That's why on March 24th, Chesapeake Climate Action Network and a host of other groups will be back here to surround Dominion's office at the end of March at our End Dominion's Power Madness rally. Hundreds of people will be here to tell Dominion that the people power is bigger than corporate influence. Over 100 Virginians, 170 right now, have already signed up, and we need you to join us. And I have sign-up sheets and flyers over on the side here, so please, if you're interested in coming, if you can spare 2 hours, sign up today. Thank you.
Price, I'm the Policy Director for the Alliance for Progressive Values. We're a Richmond-based organization, and we are co-signatories to the petition to the NRC. I want to echo what you've heard today. I think everybody's done a great job of talking about a lot of the issues. An issue that's really important to us is this idea of an evacuation plan. Right now, I think in Richmond, the plan for evacuation is to not have a plan with the assumption that nothing's going to happen and just hope. They're whistling past the graveyard on this figuratively. And I think that it's important to push them on this because I think that we have a lot of complacency in the public, and I think that if they're forced to explain how they're going to move 1.2 million people in the course of a few days in case if there's an actual emergency at North Anna, will force people to understand that there's a time bomb 40 miles from here.
Tick, 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 boom.
So I think that, you know, that's an issue that's very, very important to us. And we would hope that you keep doing what you're doing, keep letting people know, keep talking, keep honking. Excellent. Anyway, we'll be here on the 24th as well, and look forward to seeing everybody again. Thank you.
Here, I'm John Cruikshank with the Virginia chapter of the Sierra Club. This is something I believed in for a long time. The Sierra Club believes in the precautionary principle, which basically states that if you're going to take an action, you need to make sure that it's safe before you allow that action to be taken. And in this case, we had a serious earthquake in central Virginia. There's danger that the power plant could have been damaged. Fortunately, it was shut down, which was required. But then the decision had to be made whether or not to restart the reactors. And the NRC did not take the proper precautions. They did not ensure that it was safe. Instead, they're asking the critics to prove that it's not safe, which is a pretty difficult thing to do. If they had followed the precautionary principle, they would have made absolutely certain that that power plant was safe before they allowed it to restart.
That's right.
A number of our groups have petitioned the NRC. We have appealed that decision to restart the plant, but unfortunately the NRC is very, very cozy with the nuclear industry, and because of that they have allowed it to restart. And as a result, we're finding that there's 53,000 picocuries of tritium in the water at North Anna. Now, if they really care about the public, they're going to take some action, because that is going to migrate to the general water supply, and pretty soon I'm afraid it's going to start showing up in people's wells. So really the NRC does need to take action, and so does Dominion. In the short term, I think that it's important that Dominion distribute the potassium iodide to people who are living in the area. That should be done. They keep passing that on to the state. Well, somebody needs to get on it quickly. They need to expand the emergency evacuation zone to 50 miles. They need to shut down the power plant and make sure that everything is safe. They need to move those pipes, those water pipes, above ground so they can properly be inspected. In the long run, Dominion needs to get off nuclear power, as well as coal power, and eventually natural gas. They need to be investing, starting today, in offshore wind power, in expanding distributive solar power, so that we have houses that are actually producing electricity with solar panels on them. And Virginia has an incredible potential for offshore wind. These are the areas that Dominion should be focusing on. But instead, they're stuck on their old way of thinking, burning coal and having nuclear power. It's a mistake, and we want them to hear that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want your last one. 5, 6, 7, 8. Retrofit before it's too late. 1, 2, 3.